Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going through my first FPL draft, so all the players that I have selected and identified for my team. Players are a lot pricier this year, so it's quite hard to fit a lot of the good assets in, so you've got to choose the best of the bunch really, because Harry Kane's 12.5 million, Haaland is 14 million, Salah 12.5 million, Rashford 9 million, De Bruyne, again an expensive asset, so a load of them are expensive. But first of all, make sure you join my FPL league. I'll put the code on the screen for you now. It is RSIL43. So again, this year we're trying to make the biggest league in FPL, so make sure you go and get yourself in my league, and also invite your mates to it as well, so you can compete against them in my league and see who finishes higher in the table. But yeah, today we're going to go through why I've selected each player and my first overall draft and my thoughts on the players that I've chose. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first player I've gone for is Aaron Ramsdale. Now 5 million from Arsenal. I've gone for him because Arsenal have a strong start to the season. I am debating going for 4.5 million goalkeepers, but I've not found the perfect blend yet, to be honest, of two keepers to rotate between. Ramsdale's first three fixtures are Nottingham Forest at home, Crystal Palace away, then also Fulham at home. And then after that, he's still got United at home, and then Everton away, Spurs at home, Bournemouth away. So for the first 7 game weeks, I'm more than happy to keep him in, to be honest. It's game week 8 where he's then got Man City that I'm questioning. If I want to transfer him in or transfer him out. And then I also do want to have a backup keeper who might play, to be honest. So again, I've chosen him because he does have really good fixtures, and I think he's just solid at 5 million. He's not at that premium range Ederson and Alisson are, even though they are tempting, especially Ederson, because he's very nailed on for Man City. And then if we go into the first defender, we have John Stones. Now John Stones is probably the most nailed on Man City asset, to be honest. He is playing Burnley in game week 1, and then after that he's got Newcastle, Sheffield United, Fulham, West Ham, Forest, Wolves. It doesn't really matter who Man City play, to be honest, because they're so strong. But my bet is John Stones is going to feature in most of them games, especially playing in that midfield role. They didn't get Declan Rice, so I don't really expect John Stones' position to change much. I still think he's going to rotate between defence and midfield. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one at 5.5 million, especially when you compare it to the other assets like Trippier and Arnold, who are really expensive this year. And then our next defender next to him is Luke Shaw. Now Luke Shaw is coming in at 5.5 million, so it is a bit pricey. However, I think he's worth it because of how good United's start is. They do have Wolves, then Spurs, Forest, Arsenal, which is a tough game. Then they do have Brighton, so 2 tough games back to back. And then after that, they've got Burnley, Crystal Palace, Brentford and Sheffield United. So a really good start for them. And I feel like Luke Shaw's the most nailed on one. I was looking at right back, and they've got the likes of Wan-Bissaka and Dalot, so it's quite hard to determine which one of those assets is actually going to play. So it's a safe bet to go for Luke Shaw on that left side, because I doubt Malacia, to be honest, is going to play over him. Now the next one is one I'm much in favour of, and he's already got over 28% selected. It's Sven Botman, because he's a Newcastle defender on 4.5 million as well. Now Newcastle do have Champions League this year, but I don't expect him to be rotated that much, to be honest, simply because he's a centre-back, so he'll get less fatigued, unlike the full-backs. And it is rumoured that Newcastle could sign a right-back, so that means Trippier does have some extra competition, even though Trippier is really good. Newcastle's start is tricky, though. Aston Villa, Man City away, Liverpool at home, then Brighton away. So they've actually got a really tough start, but I think it's vital to make sure I get that Newcastle defender in from the beginning because of how good they were last season. And then my final defender, so you'll notice I've gone quite strong down the back of the team on the back line, is Estepinian, who was very good last year. And I expect him to be 5.5 million, but he's only 5 million again. And he's got Luton, Wolves, West Ham at home, then Newcastle at home, then United away, but then Bournemouth and Aston Villa again. So he has a good start. Brighton are one of the teams that I would target. 43.8% selected at the time of filming this, which is incredible. That's very, very high ownership, to be honest. But I'm not surprised why, because he did get quite a lot of attacking returns. And yeah, I feel like he's probably one of the really most solid options going. Then if we're moving on into the midfield, now this is where there was a lot of debate, because I've not got Mo Salah, and it was really hard not to put Mo Salah in. But I've also got Bruno Fernandes. Now I could have had Rashford, so I still might. I'm debating that. But Bruno Fernandes is 0.5 million less. And yeah, he did get less points last year. Probably, I think it was about 30 points or something. Maybe just slightly more or less. But I feel like Bruno Fernandes could be proper influential this season. It depends on what they're going to do with Mason Mount, to be honest, because they might move Mason Mount ahead of Bruno, or they might keep him behind and play him in the 10 position. It's interesting to see what Ten Hag will do there. But Man United, as we said with Luke Shaw, have a really nice start, and him being that creative spot for Man United, I feel like it could be a great asset. However, I might miss out on Rashford for 0.5 million more, so I might try downgrade someone in order to squeeze him in, whether that is getting rid of Ramsdale and getting a 4.5 million keeper. I'll have to decide on that one. But then in midfield, I do have Mitoma. Again, he was in my team last season, really strong asset. Only 6.5 million. Did think he would be a bit more pricier this year, but he's not. I feel like he's only going to kick on from last season. He's got Luton, Wolves, West Ham, and then Newcastle, and then also United, just like Estepinian. However, we know how good Mitoma and Brighton are as a team, and I was supposed to go for Evan Ferguson up front, but I've not decided to, and a load of people have, so I might change that. My final midfielder is Bukayo Saka, and I feel like I had to do that one. Arsenal's fixtures, again, just like Ramsdale, he's got Forest, Crystal Palace, Fulham, United, and then also Everton. And I just feel like he is the most reliable asset. Ødegaard has had a big price increase. Also, there's Martinelli, but I am scared of Trossard, to be honest, that could start over him at some point in this season. So Saka's the safest option. He's the most nailed on. Then we have Haaland. I've sacrificed the 14 million to pay for him, to be honest. He's got Burnley away. He's captain first game week currently. I feel like if you don't have Haaland, you're just going to miss out instantly simply because of how good he is. And I don't want to pass up the opportunity, to be honest. So I'm making sure I have him in there no matter what, because of the amount of goals he is going to score. And then next to him, I've partnered him with Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane is my only Spurs asset. We are unsure how Spurs are going to line up under their new manager, but they have signed James Maddison to give a bit more of a creative spark in the middle of the pitch, which they've been lacking in the last few years. And James Maddison is a tremendous player. He's got Brentford, then Man United, then Bournemouth, Burnley, Sheffield United, then Arsenal, then Liverpool. Now, the thing is about Harry Kane is he always will score goals, and that's why I'm happy to have him in the team, to be honest. It's better than not having him in, because last year I missed out on so many points. So I've gone for Harry Kane over Salah. It's a big decision, but I feel like I can go a lot stronger in the midfield than if I didn't go Harry Kane up front. Then, if we have a look on my bench, I've got Areola for 4 million. Now, I think Fabianski will start for West Ham, but I am, slightly risking it that there might be a chance that Areola could start. And if he does for 4 million, I've got myself an absolute bargain there. Now, this is my main bench player, Mbeumo. Now, he's moved to a midfielder, but we've got to remember that Tony has actually been suspended, and this means that Mbeumo could play through the middle, even though it could be Visser, but Mbeumo could play for the middle and be on penalties, as well as a few set pieces. So I feel like for 6 million, that he's a really great asset. 6.5 million. He's got Spurs, tough first game, but Fulham, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Newcastle. So he's a really nice one to rotate in and out. And then after that, I've only got Vlasic and Surridge from Nottingham Forest, simply because they're just going to make up the bench. I feel like it's important to at least have one bench player that plays and not sacrifice your whole bench. Otherwise, you get stuck if you do get a lot of injuries. But that is my first draft. Make sure you subscribe if you do want to see more content. And as I said, make sure you join my league. I'm going to make sure to do a load more videos to help you guys out. So make sure you do subscribe. And we're going to have a load more content coming. Please do leave a like on this video if you have enjoyed it. But yeah, that is my first draft. Let me know what assets you like the look of in the comments too. And I'll see you in the next video.